Okay, so we could name this next video, and we'll have a whole bunch of these. HTML take 2. All right, let's take a look at some more HTML. And again, we're going to go over some of the common tags that we'll use in order to format our web pages. Now again, a lot of this will be done in CSS, but we still need to know our HTML. We'll get into CSS in a few videos. All right, so first thing is that I just created this video. I put a title in, and I can see my title, HTML Take 2. I click onto my design view. Right now I'm in split view. Here we have design view, we have split view. We could just do code view. I find that a lot of times I'm working in split view, but actually maybe even more times I'm working in design view. I find myself going into the code when there's a problem. When something's not working out right, you have to go in and figure it out in the code, but it's really a good practice to go back and forth and to understand the code, because sometimes you'll need the code to solve those problems, to get those glitches and those bugs out. So we can see the pages that I have. Here's my index page. Here's HTML1. I did some experiments with HTML1. And here's a new page that I just created. Now I'm going to save this. And again, if we look at our files panel, we can see all of these videos in our files panel. So I'm going to come on over here. I'm going to come to File, Save As, and I'm going to name this one HTML2. It's very important that when we are saving these files, that when we name our files, that we do not put spaces and we do not use capital letters. We'll run into problems. Certain browsers will not be able to read our files if we have capital letters and spaces. Okay, so I'm going to hit save. Now, it's fine to put spaces in your title. Okay, that is absolutely fine. But again, in the actual HTML files, these will be, what's in the files panel is what we'll upload to a remote server when our websites are live. Okay, let's take a look at some more HTML. Okay, we can bold words. Bold. Okay, so I'm going to just, and we can see this is right on the properties panel, so it's pretty easy to do. Okay, now, okay, the reason why that happened, see how I did it through CSS? Well, let's do it through HTML. We're going to get into CSS in a little bit. All right, so I can see that these commands were automatically put in strong, and there's more than one tag for bold. Okay, all right. What else we can do? We can italicize words in HTML. Here we go, italicize. I come on in, I click this little, so this works in a very similar way as does Word, okay? And again, we can look though with these tags. What are these tags? This one is the strong tag. We can see that it's opened, it's closed. Now, it's inside of a paragraph tag, okay? And again, the paragraph tag is what puts there. Now, let's also bold a word. Okay, we can bold and italicize words. Bold. And probably from what you see here, that this is inside of the paragraph tag. Whenever you hit return, you'll get a paragraph tag. Okay, and a paragraph tag, again, I said this in the video prior to this, if you got to listen to that one, whenever you have a paragraph tag, there'll be a white space above and a white space below. So what we want to do is if we select this right here, we can hit bold and we can hit italicize on the properties panel. So there we have it, pretty easy to do. Now again, we want to look at it in the code. We see strong and then the EM tag. We see the strong tag is open, the strong tag is closed. The EM tag is open, the EM tag is closed. They're all within a paragraph tag. So we can have tags within tags in Dreamweaver. Now, again, I did this all through my properties panel, but we could have done it just by writing the code, and we also could have come and inserted these commands right through the insert tag. If I come down, I'll find the strong. Here we can see strong, okay? And also B is also used to bold. Now, you can see here, and this is an important thing to note, that this is saying HTML4. So we're working in HTML4. HTML5 has just come out. So, and there are some changes. So it's very important with web design that we stay current because things will change. We all have experienced how rapidly technology is changing. And so is the code that is rendering it as new technology emerges, as we start getting the web on different devices, on smartphones and tablets. It's all changing. It's a very dynamic field to be involved in. All right, let's take a look at some other HTML things that we want to take a look at. I'm going to enter a new paragraph tag, and let's actually take a look at a block quote. Let's take a look. Let's see what a block quote just might be. Okay, and I actually am going to begin. I don't have a paragraph tag right here. I'm going to actually put a paragraph tag in. There we have it. And now we are going to take a look at what a block quote is. Well, sometimes if we're inserting a quote, we might want it to be moved over, and we might want to use a block quote. So here you can read a little bit about it. A block quote is going to create a right margin, and it will be about 40 pixels. It will create a right and a left margin that will be each at about 40 pixels. Again, when we work in the web, it's all about the pixels. Okay, now if I wanted to cite a source, I would do that here. Okay, but I'm going to skip over that. But that's something you could use if you actually, we're citing something. I'm going to close this guy, and I've inserted my block quote. So let's come on over, and we're inside of here. This is an example of a block quote. Okay, so we can say, and it looks like I have a bunch of paragraphs happening. There's quite a bit of space. Okay, so I just got rid of one of those. Okay. When we have a block quote, our line of text is inserted about 40 pixels. Again, the web is all about pixels. All right, so there we have it. There's our block quote. I'm going to get rid of this guy. Okay. Now, let's actually take a look. I'm going to refresh. Whenever you see it, we'll refresh our code. Okay, and there we can see. There we are. Okay, moving back and forth between the two. Now, if we ever wanted to preview this, let's take a preview of it. How would we do that? Well, we can come up to this little image right here. We can say preview, and I'm going to preview this one in Firefox. And of course, you always need to save your file, and here we can see it. We can bold a word. We can italicize words in HTML. We can bold and italicize words, bold and italicize. This is an example of a block quote. When we have a block quote, our line of text is inserted about 40 pixels. Now, what's interesting though, and it's always very important to come over and to take a look at what you have here. One reason is because you can find that, some of the things that you're doing just don't make sense. We can bold a word in HTML. We can italicize words in HTML. We can bold and italicize words using HTML. Okay, now when I look at this here, I have this is on a different line, right? Okay, but when I preview it in my browser, that's not the case. Okay, this is all on one line. So if I wanted things to go onto a different line, now where things end up on different lines is going to actually be determined by the resolution of the browser that the person, really by the resolution of the screen of your viewer. Okay, so if you want a line break, if you want text to be on another line, you need to insert a line break. So let's take a look at that and how that actually, what that actually means and how that actually works. So I can come in right here. Let's say that I wanted right about after I wanted to have a line break. I would have to come into insert, tag, and I would have to insert a line break right there. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to refresh this. And now I'm going to close this so I can see what I'm doing. And now when I preview this in my browser, okay, now I have my break. Okay, so if you want that break, you have to tell, you have to specify that. Okay, all right, let's take a look at a couple more things. If we wanted to insert special characters, some special characters, let's say we wanted to insert a copy symbol. Well, we could go right into our code. We could get the ampersand, that little ampersand guy, symbol above the number 7, and we could come on down and copy is it. Here we go. Copy, double click, there it is. Now let's say I wanted to, you know, play around and insert some other little special characters. Let me refresh this so we can see it. Oops, there it is. Okay, and I also, looks like I inserted this. When I refreshed it, I didn't have a line of code with it, so I inserted that. Hopefully that makes sense. I didn't finish my code, so it just read this ampersand as the actual symbol. So if I come down a little bit further, I can choose some other little things. And I'm going to, if you want to insert hearts, you can. Refresh. There we have it. Now, if I wanted the heart to be on another line, again, I'd have to insert a break to bring it down onto a line, or hit return, and then I'd have a paragraph element. Okay, let's take a look at one more thing here. In our code. Let's take a look at another place within our HTML code. So again, if we come to insert, tag, and this is something that's really great about Dreamweaver, is we can actually go in and all of our tags are in one places. So we've been looking at formatting and layout, okay? And again, in formatting and layout, a lot of these commands have to do with how we're going to format our text. If we're going to center it, if we're going to put it in quotes, those different things. And I definitely recommend, you know, taking a look, going around and looking through these and thinking, what is this? What will this do if I insert this tag? Now, we also have page elements. So we can add different elements to a page. For instance, what I mean by that, and this is a perfect example of adding an element, we could insert a horizontal line. So I'm going to hit insert. I could put my width, 5, my height. Now again, everything has to do with the with pixels. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to close. I'm going to refresh. And let's see, has it appeared? Let's look. I just previewed what I did. I actually just created this little box. So what you want to do is you don't want just 5 by 5 pixels. Let me get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this width. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete this line of code. I'm going to try it again. Okay, so that's what happens quite a bit, right? You try something and then there's that little box. That was the line I created, but we want more of a line. So let's just come on in and let's go to insert, tag, and let's just let it be what it is with this. We're going to say OK. We're just going to use the default. I'm going to hit OK, close, refresh, and there we have it. There we have it. Let's preview this on the web, preview on Firefox. Again, I need to save this. So what we've gone over today as we look at this page, we've looked at bolding in HTML, we've looked at italicizing, we've looked at bolding and italicizing. We've gone over in HTML how we can put tags within tags. We've also done a block quote. Oh, my heart disappeared, but that's okay. Something must have happened there. We've looked at inserting special characters, the copyright symbol, and many more. We looked at creating a block quote, and then we also, once again, looked at line breaks. Line breaks are an important element that you're going to want to know. We also looked at inserting lines. Now, I want to also tell you, though, that we can use CSS to insert a line. And we also can use CSS to create a quote of sorts. But every once in a we also want to know how to do this in HTML, because we will be using this quite often, especially when we're formatting our text on our pages and our images, characters, all of the ingredients to a website. Thank you for listening.